What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. You know, it seems like Angela Yee's podcast, which in my opinion, it just looks so dusty. I mean, what's going on there? It was, shady leather couches in the background. It looks like trash. But anyways, people always say the stupidest shit on her show. I believe it was Jim Jones who says he be kissing his mama in the mouth. And then now we have rapper Maino, okay? Or if that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know these bums. But he said that he likes to have runaway slave roleplay sex with white women. Okay? He wants to be like a disobedient slave, right? And he just got whooped and all kind of crazy stuff, and it's fantasy stuff, and people just went in the uproar. Everybody on Black YouTube is roasting his ass, and things like that. And now I do know that there are people who like those kind of role play bondage sex things. I don't know what you call that. People tie your ass up and stuff like that, and step on your balls and all kind of crazy stuff. I mean, I can tell you like this: you ain't gonna tie me up and do nothing. Put honey on my body and put me in a room full of bees. We not going there, all right? Because I'll fight. So we're not even gonna go up with that. But that's what he said. He has since taken it back. Okay. Now let me just kind of go into I don't know if it's the BDSM or what kind of communities. There are people who like stuff like this sexually. He might actually like that sexually. I know there are plenty of dudes and plenty of women who like, I heard there's powerful guys who are CEOs of companies, and they go in there and they get tied up and pay $1,000 to get their ass whooped. And they just, come all over the place, whatever. All right. But the fact that he said it about white women, that's a little disturbing for me. And this is right after we saw this whole video of this black guy, getting dog walked by this kind of, BBW sized white woman at a wedding party. And you'll see that I can't prove the number, but we have certain numbers of black men who want to be servants to white women, and certain elements of black women who want to be subservient to white men. And we think that this is far off. Yeah, blacks, we can talk tough, okay? But it's kind of brainwashed into our minds. So when I hear stuff like this, I'm like, oh man, but hear me out. We all work for white folk, most of us. We don't really look at ourselves as really, many times, we may say that we want to be equal, but look at the things that we do. A lot of us have low self-esteem, and many of us don't feel that we can create societies for ourselves unless white people are governing them. And it has been our conditioning. So when you hear what he's talking about, it sounds like it's real simping, and then it is, but it's much deeper than that. This is a result of years of brainwashing, and many of us don't trust things unless they're under the rule of white folks. This is the reason why we don't have many things. Our kids don't have much. We don't really do a lot of working together because we play a subservient role in this society. It's bigger than what Maino was talking about. And so what happens is that slowly but surely, we are not so much far removed from the days of our ancestors. If you think about it, you look at black wealth in the country, we got more degrees, we have more education, we have less ownership of things. We are bragging, some of us, about even being in interracial relationships. You have people, what do they call themselves? The divestors. You have these guys, SYSBM, and it's not only about white women, but you have people that brag about this stuff. And the reason why that is that we brag about these things is because we have so much of a lack of a knowledge of self or understanding of our own abilities. So when you hear him talking like this, it's sad, but it's not like, it ain't so shocking to hear stuff like that. Okay? Because just look at the gangs. Gangs will talk a whole lot of shit online to other black people. Diss them in songs. They will never talk about doing that to a white judge. You know, when the police come, when they're in court, all of a sudden it's yes sir and no sir and pleading and crying and stuff. Because you know what systems rule over you. You know who to be tough with. Look at Young Pharaoh. When Young Pharaoh was online talking all that stuff, and then when he was in front of the judge, even though she was black, she represented the system of this country, of the state, of the city of Houston. So we already know who got control. And many of us like it like that. And that's why many of us are so fantasized about being with white people. Because that's what they represent. And to us, when we see them, we look at us as not being equal. So the only way we can coexist with them is through that sort of relationship. And I'm telling you, we got to get out of that. That's why I spend so much time in Africa. And even though you see Africans with some of that same thought process, the one thing I like about there is it's more of a black utopia. You can go out there and really build on your own abilities. You can do it in America too, for sure. But without trying to be having an idea of being subservient to somebody. And the blacks got to really start really loving themselves. We got to really start taking in consideration. No matter how much you give some of these people, they're still slaves in their mind. And our people have really fought hard to deliver us from these things. But you still see it today. Ain't no Jim Crow laws. Our people are just as subservient as they have always been. And they don't even realize that they are. They've been brainwashed, continuously being brainwashed, and don't even realize it. And Maino is no different. Despite his platform, despite his ability to be able to do things independently, he still sees himself as a slave. And guess what? He ain't the only one. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell, check out the first clip at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at all-time high. I'm out.